Okay, girls, if I can have your attention. I've got a few things to talk about, okay? And some of these things, well, all of these things are geared for the player, okay? Some of these things you might want to go home and talk to your parents about, okay? So there's a couple things I was talking about. I'm going to start with team standards, and I'm going to end with expectations, okay? And I don't know if you recall, hopefully you have, I've been talking about team standards lately at training, haven't I?
Yes.
On both teams, Okay, and if some of these times I've talked about it, I've also included that the fact that I think the team should be involved in your team standards, all right? So we're going to talk about these things, and I do want some reaction from you girls. I want to hear what you have to say about this stuff, because it is your team, all right? I'm helping you get along, but you girls, you're going to be in that age group. You're going to be playing for soccer, hopefully for a long time. Hopefully you'll be playing soccer together for a long time, okay? So that's what I mean by your team. So I think as a top team, which we are, both teams, we ought to talk about team standards. And there's just going to be some 4 points. The last point is when I'll ask for your participation. So the first point is going to be, this is going to be weird, I wish I had a chalkboard. It's going to be pride. Okay? Pride. What that means to me as a top team, if I was on a top team as a player, first off, I'm going to be proud I'm on the top team. Hey, if someone saw me, I have the ability, I've got the ability to play in the top team with the best girls in the club. Okay? But I think it goes more than that. Not only should you be proud, but as a team standard, like, let's use Macy as an example. Okay, I'm just picking out an example. I'm going to make up a story. Not even a real life story. I'm making this up. So let's pretend Macy is picked on the top team. That's real. I'm not making that up. She's proud of that. I'm sure you're proud of that. Okay, but as we go on, okay, there's other things that she could be proud of too. Like proud of the way, proud of what you can contribute to the top team, what you can add to the team. Okay. Proud of the way that not only you act on and off the field, proud of the way your team acts. And if you're not proud of the way your team acts, what do we do to change that? Okay? Hold on, I'll get to that. I'll get to questions here later. So again, just thinking about pride. Pride in team standards. Lauren, please. Girls, please listen. Pride in team standards means a lot. Okay, accountability. That's a big word. I don't even know if I can fit it on here. I lie. I don't even know if I can spell it right.
Oh, so you haven't been taking those grammar classes, right?
Not lately. Accountability. Anyone, I'm going to jump on this early. Anyone want to guess what accountability, how that relates to a team? Yes, Ada? Rely on each other. I like that. Yeah, right?
So that anytime your teammates can trust you and that you
Can trust you, can count on you. Colleen, did you have anything to add to that? I at least once every practice, Caroline. And now that I've got you both together, I'm struggling here. So, Caroline, my apologies, first off. Anything to add to that? Yeah, it could be something as simple as that. All right? Like you girls know that unless something goes on, their emergency in the family, you know that you're going to be just showing up to training. Count on you to show up. Also, I think one thing I need to hit on, something that, for example, you girls experienced last Sunday, in your game last Sunday. You're accountable for your own performance. Like, what does that mean to you? What does accountable for your own performance mean to you? Yes? I want someone from here because Sunday, they weren't there on Sunday. Yeah.
Knowing what you did right and knowing what you did wrong.
Yeah, it could be as simple as that. Anyone have any? Yeah.
Putting your effort into like how you play.
Yeah, and when you're accountable for your own performance, Caroline, you own up to it. Like at the end of the game, we had a game on Sunday. You girls weren't there. The game was for first place. If we won, we would have been in first place in Elite One, which was a great place to be. But I think at the end of the day, if we looked at each other, a lot of us weren't very accountable for our own performance. We end up losing that game. Okay? So, accountability. This is one I think might mean something to a couple of you, maybe even a few of you. Anyone have any idea what the S stands for? Please listen, girls. Yeah, sacrifice. Now, and that's why I was joking around when I said they would know what they mean. So these girls, this team has been in a couple walls. You know, when there's a free kick, you put a wall. Okay. Thank you. Well, there's a couple times in this wall, the ball would come straight to the person in the wall. And what's the wall supposed to do? Well, what did the wall do? Okay. So, yeah, that's a little on the more simpler side. Sacrifice your body for the team. But no, when I mean sacrifice, I also mean your willingness to succeed. What are you going to do for your team to help them to succeed? Now, in that example, it could be taking a ball to the face to stop a goal. That's a bit extreme. I'm not saying Kira should have put her face in front of the ball. Maybe in 2 more years she would. But no, sacrificing, like, how hard will you run? How tired will you let yourself get before you say, I can't get anymore, I can't go anymore, all right? That could be a good sacrifice for your team. Just what you can do, what you're willing to do to help your team succeed. That's a good thing for sacrifice. Now, this last one I think is important, and I'm going to need your help on this.
Communication.
That is important.
Cranberries. Culture.
No, I wouldn't expect you to. I wouldn't expect you to. Team culture. Team culture, I think, is the most important. And this is why we're going to talk about this. Does anyone, what does team culture mean to anyone here? Does it mean anything to anybody?
I don't know.
Okay. Yes, Lauren. How you play? Okay. Okay. Yes, go ahead.
How we, you know these team building things that we've been doing, how, we work together as a team, and, have fun.
Hey, I'm honest with you. I'm not even lying. That was one of them. Yes, Caroline. Focus. Yeah. You're right about that. I'm going to say, this relates to focus. My writing is getting more and more sloppy. Okay. Anyone? Anything else? Yeah. Performance. How about this? I hope I didn't misspell this. I know it's really sloppy.
I know a word that you definitely misspelled.
Competitive. I'm not going to spell that word. Competitive. I got one more. All right. Instead, and just to fast forward this. So when you think about team culture, and this is going forward, and let me just use, I'm going to, now I already used Macy as an example, so I'm going to use this team as an example. So, going forward, now, this should be a culture that you girls adopt. Doesn't matter who your coach is, right? Caroline, please. Doesn't matter who your coach is, doesn't matter who your club is. It should be something that you adopt as a unit, okay? So, you want your team to be a unit. I cheated there, all right? And to have unity. Now, as far as unity, one thing I like these girls do, and I think you girls, I maybe should give time for you girls to do as well. Maybe you've noticed, when you're doing club runs, have you seen them do that little player meeting at the end of training? They huddle up, okay?
Yeah.
Now, they talk about, I give them stuff to talk about in there, and I'm not going to give it away just yet. But I think that little action and the fact that you girls want to do it after every training, that really promotes that unity. Okay? Now, respect. How could we make steps to build respect into our team culture? Yeah. Respect your teammates. That's an easy one. That's an easy one. Yes, right. Respect your what? Yeah, thank you. So like I said, as far as staying focused, when coach is talking, you're focused on what they're saying. I'm going to go to this side. Yeah, I'm going to say I like that because that's general, that's teammates, that's coach, that's anybody. Yes, Shannon?
Respect the coaches like pennies and...
Oh, respect the equipment. Okay. Now I do like that. I've even said that a couple times when I've seen you girls step on my cones. I don't go there and step on your toys. Or step on the field. I'm sorry, respect the field. Go on, hey. A good example for that, Lucy. You remember those holes at our training ground? How I caught some girls digging those holes? Yeah. Respect the field. Hold on, Lauren. Actually, yeah, Lauren. Oh, now that's one. That's one I like. There's only two on there that I think we're missing. That's this one. Respect your opponents. Now, think about this. You're playing a game, and this team you're playing is a very physical team. They push, they shove, and right at the last second, they get a goal. They score, they win by 1 point. Then the whistle blows. Here comes the post-game handshake. Everyone lines up to shake hands. Now I know, I'm talking to both teams here. I know, maybe it wasn't you, but we've seen teammates that just can't shake hands nice. They're being disrespectful. They may be smacking too hard. Heck, they might not even be touching the other team's hands. Have you ever seen them do that? Yeah. Is that respectful to the other team?
No.
No, it's not at all. Okay? Yes? Right.
I think I was behind somebody. I forget who it was. And we were doing a handshake, and she went like this. I don't know who it was, but it wasn't someone on our team, but she was right in front of me. But she went like this.
Yeah.
And somebody on our team like reached over, and I'm like.
Well, let me address that. So everyone's seen, if it wasn't your team, maybe it was the other team that was disrespectful to you. Now, what does that look like? What does that make you think of their team? Does it give you good thoughts on their team? That's sportsmanship, right? So that one girl, hey, maybe you can scoot down, spread out on that end. Hey, there is another side to the bench.
I can stay in
A
one.
whole different side.
Hey, just to go back to team culture, do you want to be that team that other teams think of as bad sports, or pushers, or mean girls? All right. Now there comes a point when you play the opposition, and you're out there and you do your job. You do your job no matter what anyone else thinks about you. Or it's because you've got a job to do, right? But you've got to keep that respect into the game. Respect your opponents, respect your teammates, respect your coaches. Anyone else have anyone else to respect? We're missing one important one. Think of Sunday's game. Yes. refs. How do we put respect into our team culture? Like, as far as respecting the ref, how can we put steps into our team to make sure that everyone knows we respect the ref? Yes, Alex? I agree with you. I agree with you. Yes, Macy? I think that's a very simple point, but I think that means a lot. Hold on. In order to put, like, as far as unity, I think a step that we can make unity as part of our team culture is those post-training meetings. You girls do it. I'm going to try to get you girls doing it more often, but that's going to be with the permission of your parents. Respecting, as far as putting steps of respect into our team culture, we go up and shake the ref's hand after the game. Do we do that individually or as a team? Thank you. Yes, Addison.
At the end of the game, I've actually gotten a lot of texts from people. But I say thank you because they put their time into wrecking our game.
I'll say this, and both teams have seen me. Maybe you not so much, but both. Yeah, right. I'm going to move on here. So, both teams have seen me question the referee, even maybe get upset at the referee. But what do I do after the game? I go at, no matter how much that referee made me mad during the game, I go up to him or her and I shake their hand and I say, thank you, ma'am, or thank you, sir. It's just respectful. When that final whistle blows, the game is over. I could be mad. We could have won if it wasn't for bad calls. The game's over. It's time for respect. Okay? So, that's a good way to bring respect into our team. How do we bring competitiveness into our team? Yeah?
Go there, focus on why you're there.
Okay. Let me go on a side point here. Did anyone maybe watch the U.S. men's game play Canada? Okay. Let me give you the rundown. When I say we, the U.S. men, this is a men's game. This is one reason the women are better than the men. The U.S. men's game has not lost to Canada in over 30 years. You know the score at the end of the game? It was 0-2 Canada. Now, here's one thing. The game we played, the U.S. played so bad, you couldn't even blame it on the coach because we couldn't even make a pass. We couldn't even make a touch. I mean, it looked like watching U10 boys out there. So,
U10 boys are pretty darn good.
our U10 boys could have challenged them. So, how do we make sure that competitiveness stays sharp in our team? Yes? Yeah, go on, Kira. Okay, please listen, Kira's talking.
If we get scored on by the other team, we can tell our team to run,
Yeah, that's motivation, but okay, I'm going to jump to the end here. Competitiveness. Competitiveness, I think, is something that is bred. Here's what I mean. Whenever you see a soccer ball, all of you girls should be thinking what you could do with it. Like, I could either school some defender, or I could stop a goal, or I could make a goal. Whenever you see a soccer ball. Now, listen, I'm going to tie that together with whenever you're on the training ground, whenever you're playing the game, there should be only one way to play it. And that's as competitive and as challenging as you can. At no point, whether it's at school, Colleen, gym class, whether it's on whether it's training ground, whether it's like the CUSA Soccer Olympics. You know how they have those games in the Soccer Olympics? A great way for, I'm going to use Howie as an example. If Howie wanted to make competitiveness is part of something Howie's made up of, everything Howie does should be kind of inside her head. Did I do that the best way I could? Or let me do that again. I know I can do that better. All right? So at training, games, heck, getting out of your car when you're going to training, get your head ready as you're walking up, right? You're going, you got your bag, do you have all your stuff in your bag? Okay, I've got all the tools I need to be the best soccer player I can be. And every time you put that bag down and lace those cleats up, guess what you're going to be that day? The best soccer player you could be. Now, if, Lucy, just have a seat on the regular seat. Thank you. If we adopted that, if we made that part of like breathing, which is just automatic, no matter what you do all the way, I think that's a great way to put competitiveness as part of your team culture. Last thing, as far as support. What does support in your team culture mean? Yes, House. Motivation, yeah. Kind of what you, and I'm going to give it away, right? Kind of what they do at the end of their post-training meeting. They get into the circle and they go into, like, well, you girls know. After that, when they're circling up after training, they're talking about what they did that day. They're talking about who did what good that day. All right? And it's player-led, and I have the captains lead it. And from what I see from the outside, I think the girls are liking it, and it's brought the team actually closer together. All right? Maybe only slightly, because you've all been great friends anyway, but it has brought you closer together. So, as far as team culture, I really think if we can bring these items into your soccer dictionary, I think it's going to really propel you onto this last point of mine on this player meeting.
So can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
Do you see that quote from Pep Guardiola this week?
No, I have not.
He said, they were talking about Man City not having a very good start to the year, and they haven't. And he said, you know what? I can forgive any of my players for a bad touch or a bad shot or missing a shot that they should finish, because that's soccer. But what I can never forgive is if you don't give 100% effort every single minute we're in training and every single minute we're in game. Because that's unforgivable, because they have the opportunity to be playing for Manchester City, and I want 100% effort. Mistakes are mistakes. Effort has to be every second of every day you're away.
Yeah, this culture, I'm just at one point to his, it's not just about soccer. You could bring these points into your real life, all right? And if you did, you would elevate your real life as well, okay? Outside of soccer. But I think we need to worry about the team culture and just the team standards. Now, move on. So we've got right at 6 o'clock. So give me about 10 more minutes on this and we'll start playing out there. So as far as team expectations, let me go over some things. Okay, how the fall season went. The 08s, you're right now in Buckeye with 3 wins, 1 loss, and 2 ties. Okay, you have an ability to finish anywhere from first in Elite 1, and my math is kind of fuzzy here because lots of things could happen, but I'm going to say first to 4th. All right, if we don't do anything else, we'll be mid-table, 4th place. But I'm hoping that's not the case. I'm hoping you girls have a lot more effort to give, because that 1st through 3rd place could lead us into that Buckeye State. The 09s, very similar record. You've got 3 wins, 2 losses, and 1 tie. Okay? So you've got an ability, and again, it's hard to say because there's some games left, there's lots of teams left, but I'm going to say if we finish out strong, you could finish in 3rd place. All right? That's a possibility. Because right now, I think the last I looked, there's 5 points. 5 points separating the middle of the table, like 4th place from 1st place. And each team has like 2 or 3 more games to play. So it's a little fuzzy, but I think if you girls went out and put these team standards to use in the game, off the game, during training, I think you girls could end up playing in 3rd place. Now, let's pretend we are developing these standards. We are taking in this culture. We are improving. We're going to finish out strong for this fall season. My expectation is we will. All right? Which will mean next year, in spring, we could be playing the top division in Buckeye, BPYSL State. Okay? Top teams. Now, let's concentrate on keeping those standards in place. Keep elevating. Both teams could be a year away from playing OSSL. Okay? OSSL USSL, I know that makes it just sound like 4 letters to some of you. That's a league. That's a very top league. It's the Ohio State Soccer League. Okay? There's some fantastic teams that play in that. And it's a very highly respected soccer league. And not a lot of U12s or even U13s. I'm looking a year in advance. Not a lot of CUSA U13s or even very few U12s are even getting into that USSL. So you both teams, I mean, you've got a fantastic chance. You're clearly better than average. You've got a fantastic chance to be great. Okay, but you've got to develop those team standards. All right, I think that's going to push you over the edge. Let's go as far as league play. My expectations for a year from now, you girls should be pushing the OSSL league. Okay, both teams. Winter training. Winter training's coming up. You girls, it's going to be a little new to you because these girls, let me tell you, last year it was new to them because right now you girls are the youngest age group that's going to be out at Mag City, the turf field. Well, not the youngest. I'll say this: there'll be younger people, but those younger people won't be there on the colder days. We will expect it. We'll be expecting it. All right. Now listen. Yeah. Listen, hey, don't worry. The coaches have it 10 times worse than the players. Okay? Because coaches, I mean, you ask these girls. I tried to get involved in the game just to warm up. So let me tell you, those days are going to be cold. Right now, the club has put the standard in. The cutoff temperature is 26 degrees. That's the cutoff temperature. That's without wind chill. We've been out there, and I'll tell you this. I remember days where it was 23 degrees. The wind chill was 15 degrees. I still had about 5 of them show up. Listen, please. Still had about 5 of them show up and about 10 of my 07s. Because my 07s were my older team. They were my younger team at that age. And I'll say this, that practice was a tough one. They won't all be that cold. But I'm going to tell you, winter training, and outdoors, that wind will get you. It'll be snowing. We'll be playing on snow, training on snow. All right. And I'm going to finish on this point on winter training. Winter training. I'm just going to make it. I made up story for Macy. I'm going to make up story for House and Russell. Okay. Let's say House is really dedicated. She says, you know, this winter I'm going to try to go through everything I can. I know House is also a swimmer, so I know she's got a couple other things going on. So, but at the same time, Russell is dedicated as well. I know she is, but this is make-up story, fictional story. Russell says, "Oh, it's really cold. I don't like to get out below 30." She's just one of those summer girls. So what happens is Russell comes to maybe 5 trainings all winter long. House comes to all 18. Now, when we get into the spring, hey girls, I'm still talking. When we get into the spring, it's warmer. Teams are starting to get out like hibernating bears. Everyone's stretching their legs in the spring. I'm going to tell you this. You can tell the difference in skill when you put Russell and House side by side, because the girl that put that work in through the winter, her touches are a bit cleaner. She looked like she never left the game. She looked like over the winter, she got better. Russell, on the other hand, yeah, she's warm now because it's above 30, but you can tell she's rusty. Her touches aren't too clean. Okay? So, hey, just on the point of winter training, I know your parents have an input on how cold it is when you go outside. No parents like their children to go outside in the freezing cold. But I'm telling you, players, from coach to player, if you can go out there and put that work in, it will pay off. I promise you. Winter training is important. Just to give you an idea, winter training, I look at it as like a foot skills time. That's when we do the 1v1 moves, the explosion moves. We are still doing the team stuff, the scrimmage stuff and all that, but really heavy on the technical ability, how you work with the ball. Final 2 points. on just winter season. Futsal. Futsal's on Fridays. And these last 3 points, the winter training, the futsal, and my last point, you might want to talk to your parents about. But futsal on Fridays, and I'm not exactly sure how they've done it 2 different ways. One year they made a team, like say these 3 girls that I want to be on a team together. Well, they were on a team together. The next year, they just kind of had you girls show up, and they said, okay, we're going to have you on a team and you on a team. Just on the nights. Okay. But however they do it, I'm going to say this. Futsal is a game, I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's on a gym floor. Okay. The ball is a little heavier than usual. It's got a little weight to it. So it doesn't bounce. That's why it's on a gym floor. It doesn't bounce as much. But I'll tell you this. When you're not used to it, I've seen girls, when they show up, they think it's like they're playing in the grass. The ball's out of bounds more than it is in bounds. Because they're making passes, and the pass just goes right out of bounds. So the futsal game, actually when you get the grasp of it, here's how it's different. Instead of passing in the space, I'm playing right to Taylor's feet. Taylor's doing that magical stuff she does. When she can make a move, she can make a move. When she doesn't, she finds someone who can. But it concentrates. Futsal's a great game to make your feet work better. Also, it's a great game for that passing accuracy. You're going, because those bad passes, guess what happens to bad passes? They're gone. Yeah, I mean, you're waiting because the bad pass went 3 courts across, and you got to wait for the people to get it. So futsal is a really good tool to get to improve on. Yes, Greg?
A bad pass can actually go into a good pass. Because one time I did a bad pass when I was like in the gym doing it, and I actually ended up scoring a goal.
Yes, accidents can work for you, but should we rely on accidents to work for us? No. Taylor, yes, final point.
In futsal,
Yes.
you have to have good touches on the ball so you can go out of bounds.
Yes.
It's also much. It also rolls so much.
It does. Now, my final point. And some of you girls I know about this. Some of you may know about this as well. ODP. Okay. I'm gonna just say this. I like it. I'm not going to say, hey, we should do this. We all need to do this. I do think it's a nice thing. If you don't know what it is, let me tell you. Essentially, your parents will sign you up for it if you're interested in. You will go to a park and it's 3 weekends in November outside, and what it is, it's kind of like it's an all-star kind of training session, and this is what I mean. It's supposed to be like top teams come to sign their kids up, and these kids, boys and girls, are getting trained by top coaches. Because us as a coach, we've got to apply to ODP. Because it's right, I've done ODP for 6 years now, and I've met a lot of great coaches, met a lot of great kids, all right? But no coach is like, if I was a coach, I would not be allowed to wear CUSA gear at all. You cannot know where I'm from. Because it's not about clubs, it's just about kind of Ohio South, all right? And what it is you get together, you train for 3 weeks. Now at your age, there's I believe one round of cuts, right? So what as coaches are training you, they also have a clipboard. I don't know if you girls remember, I know you. They'll have a clipboard, and they'll write down either some things that you did good, things you did bad, things you need to work on. They'll score you, and you're getting scored every time you're out there. And then that goes all into a computer, and then you get a scoring, and eventually as you get older, they create teams, and those teams play different areas of Ohio, and sometimes different states. I think it's really good to start young, even though, like I said, there's only one round of cuts, there's no teams, but it's a really competitive, it's like, do you remember tryouts? Yeah. Tryouts are kind of nervy, right? You've gotta, some think they are, So you got it. You don't know whether you're going to be on the top team, how good you're going to play. I hope the coach thinks really good of me because I want to be on that top team. Well, ODP is kind of like that because again, you got a clipboard and they're like, you don't know what they're writing down. It could be something you did fantastic. It could be something you didn't even know you did. Okay? But I think it's really good atmosphere for players to kind of develop little tools on. All right? So before I move on to the game and warm-ups, anyone have anything to add about either team standards, be it pride, accountability, sacrifice, culture, anything about the team culture, or any expectations? Yes, Taylor. Huh? What about futsal? Do you like it? Okay. I can tell you the details later. Unfortunately, it's going to have to be later because I don't know the details yet. Yes, Ada. Yes, sportsmanship. Oh, yeah, the respect kind of refs, yeah. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you don't like, it's kind of like your parents or your friends. Sometimes you don't like what they say, but you got to respect it. Yes, play.
So are we still going to play, do that, training if it's like, let's say 4 feet and, I mean like 4 inches of snow, or like...
No, here's, as far as snow goes, very, very little snow, like an inch or maybe definitely 2, probably cancel. Yes, Lauren. I can't go to everyone here, but I'll try. You girls can wear anything you want as far as bottoms. They will give you an ODP shirt with a number on the back of it. But you can wear like your jersey. You can wear Under Armour underneath it. They just got to see your number on the back. You can wear CUSA shorts, but you need to wear your ODP shirt because it has a number on the back that you have to all 3 weeks or however long you're on ODP, you have to have the same number, like 812 or 1428. Yes, Howard.
Why can't they see
As far as coaches, okay. Can we end on this story? Not even a story. It's just an answer. So ODP, a lot of parents, a lot of coaches don't even like ODP, and just for one simple reason. I think it's a very selfish reason, and it's the reason we're not allowed showing this. And so I've done ODP for a while. I've had a lot of players and even parents go up to me and they say, "Man, we really like what you're doing with the kids. Where do you coach at? I want to come to your club." If ODP knew, or if they heard me say I coach at CUSA, or if anyone found out I coached at CUSA, I would get fired. I would never be allowed at ODP ever again, because that's one thing that they're afraid of, is they think like Taylor. It makes me jealous all the time talking about not that Coach Andrew, but her old Coach Andrew at Cup. All right, so since 99. So, but again, my point is that she likes that. If she likes that one coach, she's going to go back to her mom and dad and say like, I really like him. I like him better than my old coach. I want to go over there. All right. So, and again, that's not something I worry about. I feel like if I'm not liked by my players, I'm not doing something right. Okay. So I'm not scared. But I'm respectful of ODP rules. I don't show, and if I have to wear a jacket like this, you know what people do? They put tape over it. And, I mean, those backpacks. Like those. Remember when CUSA had the Columbus? Yeah, we had to put tape on our backpacks so no player knew where we were from.
Wait, so did they know what you coached for?
Not the players. I mean, I'll say this. Sometimes I've seen House at ODP last year, and I mean, we know where each other's from, but it's not like House goes up to me and goes, "Hi, CUSA coach." I mean, so. Okay, let's get out. I got club runs out here. Yeah, I got blue cones and yellow cones. sorry for the confusion. I realized my mistake. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I realized my mistake.
Somebody forgot the